There is one type of minorities that suffers more than others, religious minorities. They have no place in Pakistan. I'll show this with numbers and cases, but first let me show you the hypocrisy. In February this year, Imran Khan issued a warning. He said anyone targeting the non-Muslim population of Pakistan will be dealt with strictly. He declared that minorities are equal citizens of his country. Very well. His actions have fallen way short of his lofty words. And this is where the numbers should be doing the talking. Since August 2018, after Imran Khan took power, at least 31 members of the minority community have been killed in Pakistan. 58 people have been injured in targeted attacks. 25 blasphemy cases have been filed. At least 7 places of worship for minorities have come under attack. And these are just the cases that were reported. The Shia Muslims, the Christians, the Ahmadis, the Hindus and the Sikhs make up the minority community of Pakistan. All of them, without exception, have been targeted under Imran Khan. The Shias continue to suffer violent attacks. More specifically, the Shia Hazara community, they've been targeted by terrorists. According to one claim, at least 509 Shia Hazaras have been killed in violence since the year 2012. Under Imran Khan, at least 24 members of this community were killed last year. This happened in April, when an attacker detonated a bomb at a vegetable market in Quetta. The target were the Hazaras. Then we have the Christian community, perpetual sufferers of violence and discrimination. I'm sure you would remember the case of Asia Bibi. The Christian who spent almost a decade in prison on blasphemy charges, 10 years in jail, all because she drank from a cup of water that was meant only for Muslims. She faced the death sentence. Then she was acquitted in 2018, but she could not leave prison for weeks because in Pakistan, religious leaders are above the law. Hardliners laid siege to major cities in Pakistan. Imran Khan was helpless before the radicals in his country. He could not ensure the safety of Asia Bibi and her 5 children in their own country. They had to be whisked out of Pakistan. They had to seek asylum in France. Then comes the Ahmadiyya community. They represent less than 1% of Pakistan's population. They continue to be attacked. They continue to boycott elections in protest. Let me give you an example. Nearly 90% of the Ahmadis in Pakistan's Rabwa boycotted the election in 2018. It's the only way they can protest the discrimination they face. And so far, no leader has addressed their concerns. Their places of worship have been vandalized. There are laws that make it illegal for Ahmadi Muslims to recite the Quran. They're also not allowed to have Islamic inscriptions on headstones or even call their place of worship a mosque. Under Imran Khan, nothing has changed. The Ahmadis remain doomed. They face constant attacks. In this year alone, a group stormed into a mosque. Local authorities could do nothing. So the Ahmadis had to hand over their mosque to hardliners. There's no end to stories of the plight of Hindus and Sikhs in Pakistan. On this show, we've been bringing you many ground reports. At the time of independence, we can tell you, or partition in the case of Pakistan, almost 21% of Pakistan's population was Hindu. 21%. By 1998, that number shrank dramatically. 1998 was the last government census in Pakistan that classified citizens by religion. Hindus were just 1.6% of Pakistan's population, from almost 21% to 1.6%. Under Imran Khan, the situation has not changed for the better, we can tell you. According to the Human Rights Commission of Pakistan, close to 1,000 young Hindus and Christians are forced to convert to Islam every year in Pakistan. Last year, a 19-year-old Sikh girl was forced to convert to Islam. She came back home after a 30-member committee of Sikh community put pressure on the government. But these are exceptions. Attacks on Hindu temples are frequent. Last year, a large mob in Sindh vandalized a temple. This was after a Hindu principal was accused of blasphemy. In the month of May, the Imran Khan government announced the formation of the National Commission on Minorities. The cabinet decided to include the Ahmadis, only to drop them later. The Pakistani government faced a backlash and they had to keep the Ahmadis out So Pakistan's Minority Commission has no representation from the Ahmadis, which is the minority group that faces the most severe persecution in this country. This case alone exposes Imran Khan's farce on minorities.